the
There you go. I'll set it for you.
September
I bet it's
27,
good, too.
2016 meeting of the Conservation Improvement Committee to order here. Under previous business, can I get a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes? All right, second? Oh, okay. Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay. First on the agenda of the previous business is a public hearing on proposed law number J for 2016. Mr. Politz,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
good to see you make it, so we can move this along.
Apologize for my last month's meeting. I had something I couldn't make it here. What this will do is amend the local law we passed on pesticide notification. What this does is that residents have to post their lawns also with the granular sign 24 hours prior, or from the time that they post it for 24 hours. Commercial guys all do it. So, but if you wanted to get signs to post your lawn, they're not available anywhere. So if you go to the big box stores and buy your Grub-X and you put it down and you ask them, well, I gotta post this. Do you have any signs? They don't have any signs. So what this local law will do, will amend the local law to require that any place that sells the pesticides have to provide the signs for the consumer so that they can post it on the lawn.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Anybody have any questions?
This is just a public hearing we're voting on right
Right,
now.
well, we gotta, and also we have to amend this because we have to change the date to, what's the date we gotta make this?
October 25th.
October 25th, so we're gonna amend it to October 25th, 2016. If anybody doesn't have any questions, good.
I would like to be added to the bill.
Sure.
Okay.
I'd like to be a sponsor as
Yeah,
well.
thank you, yeah. Anybody who wants to join on is welcome.
Hi, Bill.
Any other questions or anything on this? Can we get a motion to move this out as amended? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Gary.
And you're gonna table the local law
Table
pending
number
the
2,
public
pending
hearing.
the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Yep. All right, 3, under current business, authorizing an agreement with New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets regarding the county agricultural and farmland protection plan and amending the 2016 Department of Economic Development, Conservation, and Planning budget. We have Laura DeGatano here. Could you explain this a little bit for
Sure,
us, Laura?
this is just approving the contract with Ag and Markets for the update of our agricultural and farmland protection plan. We're getting a $50,000 grant, and the $10,000 cash match is in the 2017 proposed budget in my department's farmland protection line.
It's amended?
Yeah, a couple of questions. First of all, what is the protection plan and why is it needed?
It
What are we
details
protecting?
farmland and the agricultural industry in the county.
And is there an imminent danger to this farmland that we need a protection plan?
Yes, mostly from development.
Mostly from development.
Right, as there's more, residential development, and if agriculture becomes less profitable, then farmers are forced to sell off their land, and the land is developed, and then you lose the farmland for good, the actual soils.
So what does the plan do? Does the plan provide a strategy then for farmers in order to preserve their land?
Yes, well, the first version of the plan that we did, this is an update, a 10-year update. The first version focused on some farmland protection measures, like the county had passed a farmland, a right to farm law, which gave farmers protections, enhanced protections against nuisance lawsuits and eminent domain takings. We also had recommended some economic development type strategies and accomplished some marketing type projects that were recommended in the plan. A farm tour where people could go out and see the farms in action and get familiar with their products, and also a Farms to Restaurant Week where we matched up local restaurants with local farms so they could have a special week to feature local products. It's things like that. This update of the plan, we're hoping to focus more on additional economic development strategies to promote agricultural products. Because basically, at the end of the day, you need the farms to be successful and financially viable in order to keep them there. So,
The only concern that I have about it, is there anything within the plan that would prevent a farmer who is so inclined to sell his property to a developer, prevent them from doing so?
no, not at all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions?
Do we have is there already a consultant selected? Will there be a consultant
There is
selected?
not. I put together an RFP that hasn't been released yet, and we absolutely can't, contract with a consultant until we've,
Okay, so this is the-
executed the
this is the
contract
first
with the
step.
state. Right.
Okay. As I alluded earlier and as I phoned you earlier, I am interested in issues of greenhouse polyculture, things like that produce increased productivity and as Richard was alluding to, help the farmer be more economical and more profitable. Are we going to be looking at farm technology and productivity
Absolutely.
enhancements, that kind of thing, along with kind of broadening things like farm to table and?
Yeah, and it's kind of the whole planning process is an open process, and there's going to be a lot of public participation and outreach, so people can bring their ideas to the table, and, is this something we should be looking at in the plan and following up on, so.
From my years at NYSERDA, I have a vision which probably a lot of people don't share, but someday we're going to be producing fresh fruit and vegetables. We're going to be putting on the RailX trains that are going back to the West Coast empty. And we're going to be shipping stuff there after they've shipped apples and things from the state of Washington here, which I think is kind of crazy. But anyway, that's happening. I think there are opportunities for us to
Oh, definitely. I
to
think
export.
transportation of goods, too, is something that we had specifically called out in the plan to look at, of how to get our
Okay.
products
I'll-
to the consumers.
I'll be very interested.
Okay, any other questions? If not, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second? Sure. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, thank you. All right, next one is authorizing agreement with Capital Routes regarding the installation of a bicycle fix-it station on the rail trail at the South Pearl Street Trailhead. Mr. Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The nutshell version of this is our office was approached by the organization Capital Roots. They've been awarded a Healthy Communities and Schools, or Healthy Cities and Schools grant, which what they're doing with that grant is going around the inner city areas in Troy, Schenectady, Albany, and they are putting bicycle racks and fix-it stations and other amenities of that nature in areas where you might not otherwise find something like that. We were approached, they said we really think the South Pearl Street Trailhead is an ideal location for something like this, and if it's within the guidelines of their grant, and it's an eligible location. We reviewed it, we looked like a pretty easy lift for us, wouldn't cost us anything other than maybe a couple of hours of DPW guys, helping with the installation. And this request really is to have the county attorney's office draft a license agreement with Capital Roots to basically ensure all of those things I just said.
Hey, would that agreement come back to us to approve it, or, the only thing I'm worried a little bit about is maybe liability on the behalf of the county.
We can make it come back here, sure, absolutely.
So I don't wanna overthink this.
No, if it's the committee's will to have, once the draft is complete, if you'd like to review that before we, execute anything, I can't think of any reason why we wouldn't.
I would assume that that's really what the lawyers are going to be putting in the license agreement.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, yeah,
it's-
yeah.
That's,
All right, you know what, I'll trust in the county attorney's office to make sure that stuff is taken care of. I don't think there's any reason to bring it back.
Okay.
On their
Any other
behalf, I thank you.
questions?
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
All right. Do you happen to know how much it costs for one of those things? I mean, I can find out from somebody.
Sure, no, the mechanism itself, actually I have photos if anybody's interested in what they look like.
Yeah, we've used them at the library.
In the back of it.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a drawing in there, but.
But the photos are nicer.
The ones that I did don't have
There's-
a wall, none of them.
Yeah, neither do these,
Okay,
the photos I'm
well,
passing, these that I'm passing around are the exact
Exact one.
models that would be placed.
And do you know what they cost?
Those ones I'm not sure, but I know the units themselves run anywhere, they're in the $1,000 mark, basically, like 800 to 1,400.
Another couple, like one in Delmar and then one up at the barn, or, you know, like, more, like, why is the nonprofit friendly?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest at the railhead in Voorheesville, at the other end as well, and then somewhere in the middle.
I think there's multiple locations that would be suitable when the time is right for that. This just happened to come up on a section that's really completed already, and they have certain guidelines they have to meet, so that location
Yes.
happens to meet their criteria.
All right, we'll put it in the budget for next time.
Well, you know, I just want, yeah, I'd be happy to put it in the budget, but there might be other nonprofits who could help. In Bethlehem, I have one in mind that I'm a member of. In the case of Voorheesville, I know there's a bike club, and they're really promoting bicycling out there as well.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I think that we ought to just sort of monitor and see how this goes. I'm guessing there's gonna be a lot of interest in putting them elsewhere on the trail.
And there's been some discussion, it may not be all that difficult to find, you know, community organizations to sponsor
Yeah.
these types of things.
Partnerships.
Sure.
Joanne?
So I think this is fine. My issue is, sort of goes to the broader vision of the rail trail. So we have somebody who said, oh, good, we'll give you this, you know, fix-it thing. That's all well and good. But I would love to be part of a broader discussion, and Bill and I have talked about this, and I'm sure who, you know, other folks we wanted to pull in, the county exec's office, and maybe the, you know, Mark King. I just would love to have a discussion about what the vision of the rail trail is, because we're gonna get things like this, that, oh, let's do this here. But it would be nice to have a discussion about the vision, about what we want this thing to be. I also think, and I think this is important as part of that broader vision, to loop in the Bethlehem and probably Voorheesville, you know, either highway or public works folks. My husband's the highway superintendent in Bethlehem. So, I mean, one of the things they're working on is where the rail trail stops and the road is, and then the rail trail starts, and making sure there's signage there's stop signs, but, you know, maybe there needs to be something that's a little more catch your eye, because if you're going down toward Adams Street, you know, it's real easy to think it's a small street. It's
And we-
really easy to
right.
think that that's just a little path and not street where, you know, I know there's stop signs, but I just would love to be part of a broader kind of discussion about what is the vision of this. This is great, but at some point are we gonna be looking at possibly contracts with vendors who would want to have bike rentals or, you know,
Cross-country
smart
skiing.
bikes or, you know, skiing. If you ride the rail trail, there's tons of, sort of off-road stuff that we might wanna think about whether or not, and I don't know if the county owns some of that or how far in, but, like mountain bike trails, some of those trails would be great mountain bike trails, so I would love to be part of that, and I don't know if we could set something up separately.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, I would strongly encourage you to contact me,
Okay.
and we can set
I will
up
do
a
that.
meeting and go through all of those
Yeah.
things. Or we can have, you know, a broader meeting, we can invite anybody
Yeah.
who's interested to come,
That would be great. And even
Share their
lights
thoughts.
and
Get a
stuff.
big room.
yeah.
Rick, did you have a question?
Yes, under this agreement, the installation would remain the property of Capital Roots, and they would maintain it, they'd be responsible for maintaining it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That was my
Thank you.
question.
That was your question?
We wouldn't have it any other way. Believe me.
All right, anybody else have any other questions? If not, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.